I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I also would like to thank the members of the press for their patience in dealing with this tragedy for the Jackenheimer family. The reason for this press conference is to try to keep everybody on the same page with the information that's being released. The medical examiner's office in Greenville, North Carolina, has finished with the autopsy and has ruled the cause of death as strangulation and stab wounds. As you all know, the identification of Lynn Jackenheimer was made yesterday by the medical examiner's office. Warrants were obtained by the Dare County Sheriff's Office for the arrest of Nathan J. Summerfield, 27 years old, of Ashland, Ohio, on a charge of first-degree murder. Summerfield has been entered into NCIC as a wanted person. The U.S. Marshal Office, Eastern District of North Carolina, has been notified, and they are assisting the U.S. Marshal Office in Ohio and the Ashland County Sheriff's Office in locating Nathan Summerfield. That's all I have, and if you'd like to ask some questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them.
So was the manner of death homicide, interpreting homicide then?
Yes, ma'am.
How many stab wounds and where were they?
We're just saying that there were stab wounds, and we're not at liberty at this time to tell where they were because the investigation is still ongoing.
Was the guy of this strangulation or the stab?
A combination of both.
Could you describe?
Hold on just a minute. Yes, sir.
Was this some like a fertilizer dumped on her as far as you know?
No, sir.
Could you describe the condition more of the body that you learned about? I know it took a while to identify her and even the gender because there were possibly some deterioration. Could you go into detail of the state of her body when it was found?
I'm not going to go into that, but taking into consideration the time in between that and the body find, you know, I think that's enough said, you know, with that.
So was ID determined by DNA then? Say that?
No, ma'am, it was not by DNA.
Wasn't it by dental records?
Yes, sir.
What can you tell us about the time of death? What was going on? What happened after that?
We're not exactly sure what was happening, you know, what exactly was going on at the time of her death. You know, the last place she was seen alive that we can say was at the residence where they were actually staying at in the rental cottage, and that's really all I can say about that.
The message from the 911 call originally was strangulation and disposed of sort of brush. Being consistent with what you found, I mean, how does that kind of work together towards building a case against Summerfield?
That would be very consistent with what he had to say.
Are you able to determine like when she died, like how long she was there?
How long she had been where we find her at, I wouldn't be at liberty to say that either.
What can you tell us about what you've been told from Ohio about the search for him?
They are active. They have been very, very busy. My major here, Norman Johnson, along with the other investigators at the Sheriff's Office, have been in constant contact the whole time, ever since this has gone on. And, you know, we really would like to thank Ashland for what they have done with the Sheriff's Office there. Has been very, very good. And they have several investigators that have been working this the whole time, ever since they knew, you know, what had occurred.
The body was found in a plastic bag. What can you tell us about that?
That's about all I can tell you about that. The body was found in a plastic bag.
What's the connection between where she was found and possibly where she was staying? They're not right next to each other.
No, sir, they're not. And, you know, for me to do that, it would just be speculation, and I have no, you know, I wouldn't be able to answer that at all, you know, at this time. I have no idea.
But we do know, based on previous statements that have been made by your office, is that they have visited here before, possibly asking for people to tell us, have you seen them? Is it possible? Do you know? Do we have anyone that can put them at the scene where the body was disposed of?
I wouldn't be able to answer that either.
Because?
Just because it wouldn't be the thing to do. Yes. I wouldn't be able to answer that question either, Ms. Kozak, but thank you.
Could you
Yes, sir,
Not
but
telling us everything.
I understand, but because the investigation is still ongoing, and some things, when this plays out and we know exactly what is going on, if we're able to, find him, and talk with him, there will be some things that, only he can answer.
Only he can, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Were you gonna say
Oh,
something?
no, that's only he can answer.
Only he can answer, and he's missing.
Correct.
He can't answer, obviously.
Exactly.
Do we have other people who can fill in the gaps?
There are other people that can fill in some of the gaps, yes, sir.
Can you tell us in what areas of the gaps they can fill in?
No, sir, I couldn't do that.
Did anybody contact you when you put out the request for local people?
Yes, sir, we have had some, well, maybe not local here, but Ohio, yes, sir. Some people have contacted us.
But nobody who lives here who befriended them?
No, sir. And unless there's another quick question,
Did he have any help, as far as you know?
I wouldn't be able to answer that either. And now
One last question.
one last
Sheriff.
question. Yes, sir.
The search was primarily just south of Southland. The body was found 30 miles away. Why were you all concentrating on that area when, in fact, the body was found 30 miles away? What had you been told that made you think that was the place to search? Because you spent a lot of time there, so obviously you felt that there was some reason to be there.
Just with the information that we had gotten right off the bat would have indicated that we would be in the right place looking for what we were looking for. And we thought, it would be there. So, all right. Wish I could.
People answered your call for more information. I know you asked us to put the word out. If anybody knows anything, have people been able to give you relevant information that live here or vacationing here?
I don't know if it's actually been relevant or not, but we have received some tips, which we have looked into. And I thank you again, and that's all I got to say, and I really do appreciate you coming.